I'm Phyllis. I'm from Extinction Midlands, and I'm targeting Barclays today because they are Europe's biggest investor in fossil fuels. They've put more money into fossil fuels since the Paris Climate Agreement than any other European bank, and they are also in the top 10 worst banks in the whole world for financing fossil fuels. Now, a lot of focus has been done on how you can pick a more ethical bank. However, with Barclays, the problem is that no matter what people choose as individuals, all of us bank with Barclays because HMRC bank with Barclays, which means that all of our taxes, our pensions, our benefits, all of those things that go through HMRC go through Barclays, which means that Barclays has the opportunity to put all of that investment into fossil fuel funding. The government needs to break up with Barclays. It needs to choose a more ethical bank to be for our money to be going through, and individuals need to break up with Barclays as well. There are many other banks that are better than Barclays. Many other banks do bank with fossil fuels, but there are options like Triodos, Nationwide, Metro Bank, Co-op Bank, none of which invest in fossil fuels. So I'm here today to make sure that eventually the government break up with Barclays and Barclays stop funding fossil fuels. We want to make it impossible for them to keep investing this money by disrupting them.
Our reason behind this, many years ago, it was 2016, Barclays were signatories to the Paris Climate Agreement, and since then their funding for fossil fuels has only increased. 2 years ago, some activists turned up, decorated the inside as we did. Since then, their fossil fuel investment has continued to increase. So we're back with more oil, more smoke, because we're not going to give up until they listen. This cannot continue. For the good of everybody on this planet, every living thing on this planet, what Barclays is funding has to be curbed now.
Do you want to tell us about the game of catastrophe that you were playing inside?
We would love to, yeah. So it's just a little bit of a fun satirical take on the game of Monopoly. A bit of fun history behind the game of Monopoly. It's actually initially designed as a kind of anti-capitalist satirical thing. Hasbro brought it up and sanitised it, but I kind of liked that, and it kind of inspired me to just dress up like Monopoly men and just kind of use a little bit of silliness to draw attention to something quite serious, which is all of the natural resources, all of the people essentially who are being commodified and consumed
Can I interest you in a drink?
all of the things that Barclays are funding: deforestation, theft of indigenous land, off-sea oil drilling, which is decimating marine life. I hope my numbers are right here. I believe 17 new coal plants in Bangladesh, which will be deadly to the people of Bangladesh in the short term, and in the long term that is everybody on planet Earth's problem. Because that's CO2, we share the atmosphere. And I feel it's important to highlight, because very often when we talk about climate change, people say, well, the UK's not the problem. What about, in the East? Well, companies based in the UK are funding these overseas projects. In a globally connected world, we can't just wash our hands of something because it's far away. Barclays, our government, are all complicit in what's happening, well, just all over the world. Barclays have their hands pretty much everywhere in the planet right now, and it just has to stop. I think that's about all I have to say.
Tell me about those change cards that you had.
Yeah, so we just wanted to highlight some of the brilliant actions that have happened in the lead up to this, because this is not a one-off protest against Barclays. I believe we're approaching 40 different actions have been taking place of different sizes, but all important, where people have gone to their local Barclays branch and made their voices heard, to engage the public, make sure they understand what is happening when Barclays invests these billions, and billions with a B, in such environmentally destructive projects. So yeah, we wanted to give a highlight to all those amazing people all over the country who gone out to Barclays and said, this is not okay, this must stop.
Marvellous, thank you very much.
So my name is Tiffany. Hi, Chickpea.
A couple of weeks ago, the dirty scrubbers came here to help clean up Barclays' dirty act, do a bit of greenwashing. And after they'd had a hard, long day of scrubbing, they went off to get some sausage rolls at Greg's. And in Greg's, we met a lovely lady who worked there, who used to work at Barclays. And she works as a receptionist there. And in the foyer, they had this little TV screen. And on the TV screen all day, she'd see images on the news of floods and fires and deforestation. And she'd see protests that people were doing against Barclays. And that was what convinced her that she couldn't work for that filthy company anymore. And she left and went to work at Greg's, which is a much better job because now she's feeding some wonderful vegan sausage rolls.
Oh, fantastic. That's a lovely story, Chickpea. Thank you so much.
It is unequivocal that human activities are responsible for climate change.
2021 turned out to be a bumper year for Barclays and almost tripled results from a year before.
The cost of living in the UK is rising and it's changing people's lives.
We either have to eat and be cold or be warm and starve.
A massive wake-up call to governments to cut emissions.